Hello and welcome back to Bluebird Lane Creations. My name's Tiffany and it's time to get creative. Thank you guys for returning with me. This week has just been really wonderful. I've had some great interactions with people in my comments. I appreciate the comments, you guys. Thank you guys for subscribing and being part of my journey. I truly appreciate it. I wanted to thank a couple new folks to my channel, and I'm gonna fangirl just a little bit. Like, you start these YouTube channels and you're watching these huge name, creators, and you don't expect that they're going to be watching you. And so, Tanya at Tatty Treasures, she subscribed to me. I'm in her Facebook group, of course, but Eve with Scrapbooking with Me subscribed to my channel. If you haven't seen her work, she is so fun. She has creative, great ideas. She owns her own shop. She runs it with her daughter. I think her daughter's name is Melina Pliant. I'm probably butchering the last name. But look up Scrapbooking with Me. You watch one or two of her episodes and she'll tell you about her daughter's channel, I'm sure. Actually, I'll be able to link them both in the description if you're interested. They're both fantastic creators. Very cool pockets and notepads and all sorts of little things. Just miles and miles of video. Sorry, I'm still fangirling. So I'm very excited about that. Also joining us is Barb Dingwell and Deborah McCullough. Thank you guys so much for joining my channel and my journey. I am so thankful the people that are commenting and getting to know me, I'm just so excited over. One of my avid commenters, Evie, she just joined one of the Facebook groups I'm in, and I happen to be a admin in that group or a moderator, and I approved her application to join the group, and I was like, yes, people are really picking up on what I'm throwing down here. So it was just super exciting to see her come over, because we've developed quite the friendship in talking in the comments. So thank you, Evie. I do have just one happy mail real quick before we get started on our project today. Let me find my super fancy letter opener that was made for me. And I haven't even opened this yet. This is from Sharna Garrett. She's part of my Junk Journal Junkies Etc. group. And this is a Wall of Inspiration item. Wall of Inspiration in that group is things that people are creating and sending out as a happy mail, but it's meant to show you their most creative projects so that you can be inspired. You pin it up on your wall and you take a picture of it once a month and share it with the group, and it's so fun. So, oh look, she included a little card to tell me, and look at the washi. Oh my gosh, I love this washi. I'm going to try to, sorry, I don't want to be all slow about it, but I just genuinely really like this. So I'll have to ask her where it came from. And if it has a little paper on it, that's okay. It'll be part of the embellishment. Okay, so let's get to it. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. I can already tell. I'm just going to see if I can slip it out of here so that I can save that washi later and move a little slow with it. Do believe that's okay. Yes, so we got everything out. So I'm just going to set this aside there. And let's take a look at this project that Sharna made. So on the front, we have this little pocket with a piece of ephemera in it. Fabulous. And oh, she used a Velcro dot, and it looks like it's got a bottom tuck with, oh, she used the Tim Holtz tiny attacher, it looks like, to put a couple little staples on here. And it feels like this opens, or maybe it's just layered up really well. But there's so many layers to this, really cool. And let's see, I love these things when people do folds and tucks and pockets. Got a really cool sticker on here. This almost looks like it came out of one of the, I have this sticker book that I got off of Amazon. I've seen Gail Agostinelli use it. It's the Antiquarian sticker book, and it's got like so many cool stickers, and they're not shiny like kid stickers. They're awesome ones. I'll try to link that in the description as well, if I remember. I'm gonna try. So then we've got a little pocket over here with a little piece of ephemera. This really cool owl, which also looks like it might have come out of one of those type of sticker books. And then it folds out each direction, which I believe, okay, so it's probably this way. And it's got a little tag in here, which she already put an eyelet in for me. Fabulous. Another little staple, and she really layered this up. This is cool. So it looks like there's tons of layers. This is actually, I believe this is a Tim Holtz paper. And she put this tab on up here, and it only really has 2 layers on it, but it looks super layered. Actually, this is another layer here. Cool. Really fun. I love these kind of fold out projects like this, like one huge piece of paper and then so many little tucks and whatnot. Awesome, Sharna. Thank you. You did so good on this. Thank you so much for sending me something inspirational. I will be putting that up on my wall as soon as I am finished here today. So I will go ahead and set that aside. See if I can reach my table. Okay. So I also wanted to show you, I don't normally do like haul type things, but because I am newer to this and I have card making background and I just sometimes can't help myself. I was at Tuesday mornings and I saw these little things that I picked up, these little dies. These are thin dies. I just wanted to show you kind of what goes through my mind when I think of something to purchase. Not only am I looking to think, can I use this item multiple times? What ideas can I think of off the top of my head? But I look, if I'm taking, you know, a piece of garbage or junk, we'll say, I have this. This was like had a piece of bakery something in it. If I have this, I can take these dies and I could cut my own doilies out of this. I could build layers of flowers and make my own ephemera pieces where I'm not buying more than just the original investment for the die. So I did pick these up, and I do plan on, you know, utilizing these little flowers at some point to make some little ephemera pieces or cutting out some doilies. So you might see me use doilies that I didn't buy anywhere, but I made out of, you know, pieces that I had. And I'm sorry, I bumped my lighting a little bit here. Okay, I wasn't planning on reaching behind me so much, but I have so much stuff on my desk right now. It's just a little busy up in here. So this is our project for today. And no, we're not in kindergarten crafts. This is going to look amazing when we're done. But I wanted to show how even a beginner can pull something from their house to get started. This is not going to be a heavy-duty involved project. This is just going to be something simple that anyone at any level could do. So the first thing I want to do, now I did this with the shorter rolls, but I decided that because my channel is aimed towards an audience, I didn't want to use the short ones for my video, but you can use the short ones. We're going to cut this into a couple smaller pieces. So the first thing I want to do, I'm just going to cut somewhat of a straight line. Now I can straighten this out on my trimmer later, but I'm just cutting it down the center. There's a couple tougher spots where the paper, you know, runs over itself. This is just my paper towel, my empty paper towels. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half. I'm just flattening this out. And like I said, we can even up the edges when we get ready to make our project. But I just, and some of the places are harder to fold because of the double layers and such of the paper. But I'm just going to get a fold on this. Now, if you have a bone folder, this is an excellent time to get a good crease because there are some tougher spots that you just want to have flattened out. Now we're going to take care of the curve. Now I use, and I'm just going to demonstrate because you won't be able to see the edge of my desk, but if it's curved this way, then I'm going to turn that upside down and I'm going to roll it on the edge of my desk like this, just lightly, until it doesn't curve anymore. And I'll show you what I mean here. So I'm just going to rub it on the edge of my desk. And you see what happened here? That side flattened out, and now I just have this other side to do. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take it to the edge of my desk, and I'm just going to roll it over the corner to basically curve it the opposite way that it's used to going. And you're training that paper to then lay flat again. If you kept going, it would probably curl the other way. But I just want it to be more flat so that we can work with it a little bit easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to trim this up. So I am going to use this is my Tim Holtz little trimmer. You can absolutely use your scissors. I have these tools and I would like to use them to try to be as precise as I can be. And what we're making today, I'm going to make some little notepads. They're just going to be simple little notepads, and I think I'm going to make them about 5 inches. So, that was a little tough spot there. And I'm going to straighten up my edges here and make sure that I've got a clean, straight cut. I should be doing this at the bottom, because then as it pushes downward, it pushes towards me. A little, sorry about the noise. And I am going to clean up this bottom edge, so it won't be quite 5 inches. It'll be a little bit under, but this does not have to be specific right now. So there I have a folded in half. Okay, I want this to line up a bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in here. It clearly doesn't want to be square, but we're going to make it square. I should be using my big trimmer. I might have to. Sorry guys. Little trimmer is saying we just want to do small jobs. So let me get out the big guy. He just sits on the other side of my desk. That's why I said my desk is full of stuff. And I'm just going to put this right at that kind of like 2.5 inch mark. And this one does a much better job. See, now we're lining up. Okay, so we'll just finish this up here. This will probably make far less noise anyway. Let's see. I'm going to take this straight edge and trim off a bit here. And then we'll take that straight edge and we'll go to 2.5 inches again. Sorry, there's some tough cuts here. It'd be probably easy with scissors, but I'm trying to get this to be as nice as I can with the tools that I have, so bear with me. And then we're just going to go right at about the 5 inch mark, and then we're done. No more loud cutting. Okay. Let me clear some of this away. Put that in my little recycle. I don't save every little tiny bit and scrap because I just can't have all those little things. I'd never get anything done. So we've got 2 notebooks we're working with here. Now I am going to cut, so these should be 5 inches by 5 inches. So I am going to cut down some paper that'll be, we'll go about 5.5 by 5.5. Now I have this little scrap that I want to use. We're going to be using some papers by, oh, this might not be enough. Okay. We're going to be using papers by my friend Angela at To Restore You. She had mailed me some beautiful papers. This is by, the papers are called Blue Bayou. So those are the ones we're going to use today. And I'm just going to cut off a piece to work with. We might use some of the other pieces as we go here. Let me cut off this side. And we can go to 5.5. And then I'm just going to cut off this little white edge. And then we'll turn it and we'll go 5.5 this way. Okie dokie. And I have another piece from, I believe I have another piece ready. I'll do this one as well. These papers are beautiful, and I wish I'd had them a hair sooner so I could have included them more in my blue journal, but alas, when she sent them to me, I already had that project well underway, and so now we get to use them for other projects. So she is a fabulous creator, and I encourage you to check her out, not just because I'm biased, but truly. Okay. All right, that part is done. I am, now you could also do this with scissors, but I like to use my finger blade. That's this little guy. Or you can use an X-Acto knife or a box cutter. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a little bit of a mitered corner. And what this is when I glue this down and we bring those edges over, this will just allow the corner to fit better. So I'm going to glue this down and then I'm going to miter the corners. So we want to glue it on this side, obviously. And then we will put a different piece of paper on the inside. Let's see. I am going to use my art glitter glue. Ooh, that pin was really stuck in there. It just like felt like the pin glued itself into the bottle. Or maybe it was just the top piece, but okay. I'm just gonna get glue all over this. We'll start that way, and I wonder, yeah, we'll get it all the way to the edges. Since we're folding the paper over eventually, it doesn't matter if we get some oozing out because that won't be showing anyway. These are just quick little things that you can have on hand to put into pockets of your journals. These are also fun to create and add into little gifts that you give to friends. If you, you know, maybe you want to do something nice for a few coworkers, you can give them a little notepad. I like to try to do nice things like that for people at work once in a while, maybe for a holiday or something. So we're just going to go in here. Now this is going to grab pretty fast, and it doesn't matter if it's perfect, but I'm just trying to get an edge on each side here. So I want to get these, I'm going to glue both of these down, and I'm going to put a little weight onto them so that they have time to set up. So I have a tray over here that I can stick them under while they get flat. And we'll just go glue our other one down. The great thing about these papers that I'm using is they're somewhat not directional. Now on this one, you know, obviously we'll want that to either be top or down because then we can turn it. It just, you know, it's going to fold this way. So if you do have words or something, that's something you might want to pay attention to if you have directional paper. All right. Hope everybody's having a good week. It's kind of just getting started. I'm sitting here like thinking, I have something on my mind I was going to share, and then I was like, oh, do I really want to tell that much? But I film, a little bit ahead of time. So I'm filming on Friday. I try to be a couple days ahead of time. So I'm filming on Friday of the prior week. And yesterday, we have a one of a kind, well, it's not one of a kind, it's 1 in 20 Shelby Mustang. It's number 8 of the 20. And my husband had jury duty, and he did not want to take that vehicle downtown because there are a lot of transient folks in this particular parking garage seeking shelter, and he didn't want his car there. So he took my truck. And then he was going to have me drive the Mustang to work. So I did, and when I got to work, I thought I was parking in a really safe spot, and I pulled forward, and the chin splitter, which some of you ladies are probably like me, what the heck is a chin splitter? It's the little, I'll see if I have a pin. Below the bumper on the front, there's this fancy part that does this, and then it does that again on so this is the passenger side and the driver's side. One of these low scooping pointy majigs hit the curb, and I was like, oh, it barely hit. I went out and looked at it. I'm like, oh, I'm not even going to tell my husband that hit. Well, then I was like, okay, I'm going to tell him. And I go back out to take a picture to show him how little the damage was, because I wanted to reassure him that I hadn't really hurt the car. And by hitting this, I broke this whole bumper of our collector's item car. And I'm laughing, but I was crying. I broke it here, and here. It broke in 3 different places. And when I say broke, it shattered, broke. There's no, it's going to be an insurance claim. And to be honest, the parts that my husband's trying to get for it have to come from Shelby American, and some of the parts, the stripes that go on it, you have to prove to the Shelby that you ruined them in order to get, it's really complicated. Anyway, so I caused a huge headache, but it's okay. It'll be okay. I just thought I'd share a little stressful thing going on for me. So I'm going to miter these corners, and what you do, so you want to, so if there's a square, if this is, let's say that this is a continual area of your corner, when you're mitering the corner, you are cutting, you want this piece right here to angle in just a little bit. So you're cutting there, outside of that line, and then you're curving at the before you hit the corner, you're curving, and then you're coming down this one just a little bit. So when you get done, it will look like a little, not a U shape, but a semicircle or something, not, I don't know, just a little curved. And drawing the line definitely helps when you're starting out. After that, you'll get to where you feel, somewhat comfortable with the cut. And I'm just using a piece of chipboard that I keep on my desk for, this kind of work. That's why I didn't mind drawing on it, because if I do end up eventually using it for something, I would just be covering that anyway. So, all right. And there we have it. That one is done. Let me pull the other one out. And we'll do this one as well. I like this one because I feel like I have more control with it like this. But I encourage you to try different tools, especially, if you find them for free or at yard sales or estate sales, or you have a, 50% off coupon or something. It's just a good way. Oops, that one was kind of a little wonky. It's just a good way to try something new. and see what's comfortable. Because if you craft for years and years, I mean, it's just like work. You want to take care of your body, take care of your hands. You know, as we get old, people face arthritis and such, and things feel better and if you make it so that it's comfortable for yourself. So this one's comfortable for me, and that's what I like to use. I have the other ones, and occasionally, you know, depending on the project I'll go back and forth, but for the most part, I reach for that finger blade, and it works for me. All right. I should have cut the inside pages. Let me think here what I want to use inside. I wonder, just trying to think if I have any other scraps nearby that would work. I mean, yeah, I could just, well, I could use some of this book page on the inside even. We might tear that down and just make use of some more junk. But first, we need to glue these pages. Now, I like to, when I'm gluing sides like this, I like to use a flat ruler to help me fold it up. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to get a little glue going here. We'll just do one little section at a time. Get our glue on here. Now we're going to be covering this up, so it doesn't matter, you know, how they look really. But what I like to do is use my ruler to make a flat edge. I feel like it helps it fold. You know, you get that good fold on it. And then, especially when you've got a piece of cardboard like this, sometimes hard to really butt it up against that. That just makes it easier for me. So that's what I'm doing with my ruler. And we'll just kind of do that all the way around. And we'll find out here shortly how well I mitered my corners, because I'm just going to be the first to tell you I am not a pro at mitered corners. I tell you what I know, but I don't necessarily do it perfectly. I'm just sharing the knowledge that I've learned from other people. But I claim not to be pro. So that one turned out pretty good. See how it's nice. It's covered on all sides and looks nice and flat here. So when we put our other piece of paper on there, it's going to work out perfect. And I think most of these will turn out okay. There was that one wonky one that might be like, what? But those imperfections mean that they were handcrafted and not purchased to be perfect. Oops, I like to have the metal side so I can clean the glue off. This is just to be honest, I think this metal ruler just came for free from an estate sale or something. I definitely did not buy this ruler. I have no idea where it came from, to be honest. And this is turning out fairly good right now, I would say. I think if you guys ever watch Nick the Booksmith, she's got some really great tips for mitering corners and even creating, like for when you're working on your actual journal. She's got a really cool video she put out recently on how to create a little tool out of stacked like chipboard, I think, or you know, like maybe even just thick cardstock would work. But it was a video she put out on how to build this little tool that gives you, I'm gonna say, perfectly mitered corners. I mean, it was really cool. And I may end up making myself one of those little tools here eventually. So we've got that one. Thanks for bearing with me, you guys. This is like the longest part of the process, right? Sometimes I'm just moving glue around and not squeezing it out of my bottle, just to make sure I've got good coverage. I don't need a ton of glue with the art glitter glue. It works really well, but I do need good coverage. And I'm just trying to press it down so it grabs. Once it grabs, it just stays there. There's no fussing around. I think this was that wonky corner right there. I can see it, and so it may not have full coverage, but we don't really care. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a perfectionist and I like my items to look perfect, but we all know that crafting is not a perfection. Most of the time we're learning new techniques. I don't know very many people that stick to making the same thing their whole entire crafting career. I mean, there might be basics that we fall back on, but you know, we're always growing and making new things, so mistakes are made, and those mistakes get gifted because there's no reason to be wasteful when everything else looks fine. So I really like this ruler giving me these flat edges up to the cardboard. It's really helpful. Oops. This already feels like super substantial, you know? No one is ever gonna know what's underneath. So that's what I was saying, like, if I make these for myself, I may use the shorter ones, the tissue rolls. You know, if they're, like, I'm not pulling them out of my garbage or anything. It's if I decide to save them. Like, if you feel weird about it, you could always go in and take the last little bit off and set it on the counter and then take the roll before someone gets to the end. Okay, I'm going to stop. You guys know how to get a tissue roll. But if nothing else, there are paper towel rolls. Okay, got a ton of stuff here on my ruler. I'm just going to clean off before it sets too much. Just take my little, usually keep, you know, baby wipes or little hand wipes, and this glue comes off super easily. And let's tuck that guy away. Put my pin in my glue for just a minute while we tear some papers down. Okay, we'll let that one set up and we'll go back to working on this one. So, okay. Got my tearing ruler, and I'm just gonna tear this down a bit, and we'll see what we can do about making this the inside. Okay. That's kind of, I think I know where it needs to tear. We're about to find out if I was right. That's pretty close. Okay, and then need to go right. Okay, so this is not straight, so I'm going to come in here like this, take my project out. Oop. And we're hoping it's right about there. Okay, fingers crossed. I'm doing it. It's gonna work. Okay, there's one. And I have another one of those pages. I just have to find it. Perfect. Maybe Maybe I want my little Patriots and Heroes part to be left in there. I just think these book pages are so cool. I can't, would never bring myself to throwing them out. I always use them for something. So we'll work harder to make this one a little bit straighter. So let's see. Looks like, and I'm just looking at like where my words fall, so I need to go right above the love. It seems to work out. Alright, and oops, I guess it doesn't matter, it's 5 by 5. And this is the part that's the harder one because there's no straight line. So after nuns, got the P, and that's about where we need to be. And hopefully that covers all of our cardboard, whether it's straight. Yes, yes. Give yourself a self high five. All right. Let's get these glued down. I guess it doesn't matter what side we use either. There's stuff on both sides. We want the Patriots and Heroes to show on this one. This is out of that book that I'm using for Sample Book Sunday when I've had to remove a few pages. These were the table of contents, I believe, and I just really like them and just have them. I'm saving some of them, the ones with pictures and stuff, because I'm actually gonna utilize those to make embellishments or things as we go. But the table of contents I just decided to put into my quote-unquote scrap bin. I'm not throwing any of it away, but I'll just leave it there to use in projects like this as we go. It keeps me from running to grab like scrapbook paper off my shelf or something. So that's gonna work. And then let's get this one on. We want the world workers. Yeah. All right. Gosh, it's taken us quite a bit of time to get here. I don't know how much time we'll have in regards to decorating. I'm going to try to start picking up the pace. Okay. I think this was the one that wasn't quite as straight, but as long as it covers what we need, that's all that I care about. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside and I'm going to put some weight on them so that they can dry nice and flat. We will then bend them in half in a few minutes, but while that's going on, we are going to tear some papers. Let me see. Let me pull out some. So I did set these over there. These came out of a little 6-ring little binder that I picked up to maybe make a journal out of. So I just pulled the paper out and threw it in my scraps. This is just a sheet of paper out of a notebook. And I did pull this out. This is typewriter paper. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but there is a watermark in the paper. I was trying to see if I can hold it in any kind of light. Anyway, it says Cora Sable Bond, USA. It's just some old typewriter paper. I thought that was kind of neat. I got that at an estate sale. And then, I don't know what this paper is, but there was just another piece of paper that I had. So what I'm going to do is use my tearing ruler and tear this down just to give us a little couple pages for our notebooks. Let me get my glue pin in. I'm always forgetting this, which is probably why it always gets clogged up. Okay. So I'm going to tear my circles off. And these we're not looking for any kind of perfection on this, I am going to do an approximate measurement of how long they are. And we know that we've got 2.5 inches. So let me just get my ruler back out. These, okay, so we need to go down a bit more in size, at least 1/2 inch. And then we'll say we want maybe about probably 4 inches. So this is kind of our baseline piece of paper. If they're a little bigger, a little smaller, that's okay. And then we'll just kind of utilize this as our measurement. And, you know, I do want all different little sizes and such, so we don't want them to be perfect. We want all different shapes and sizes. Now these are going to go, I'm going to divide these up into 2 different stacks. And I'm just really eyeballing the rest of this because I mean, I can kind of gauge 2.5 inches, or, you know, pretty close anyway. I think I can be trusted on that. And we can utilize even this smaller piece. We can throw in one of those. I mean, we can even, I have some scraps of parchment paper. Is that too, yeah, that might be too different of a color. Let's see. This one's kind of a beige. Oops, I don't know why I'm turning my ruler over. So, oops, I don't want the straight edges on that, so I'm going to save that in my scraps. We'll make another tear here. The top straight edge doesn't matter because it's going to be covered, but the rest of it, I think maybe we'll take a piece of this and tear a little off, and then we'll make another. I'm just moving quickly so that we can, time-wise, we don't have too much time put into this. How many pieces do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Put this little one in there. 3, 4, 5. That's probably good. We're just showing an example. I mean, we can use these in our projects. And then what I'm going to do on each of these, I'm going to pick whichever that had the straight edges on it. I'm going to pick that. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. You can use a stapler. You can use glue. I mean, however you want to attach these. I'm going to put 2 small staples in there. And the same, okay, this one's like exceptionally long. We'll just put that one towards the back. If it's too long, we'll tear it down later. Get 2 staples in this. And then these are going to be covered, so let's see. Where did the scraps go? We can use this. Okay. I'm going to see if I can tear this a couple times, and we'll see. And then again this way. Now this needs to be to about there. And then do we have enough? Oh, I think we're gonna get lucky, ladies and gentlemen. I know my husband's watching, so I can say, and gentlemen. Don't want to leave anybody out. I didn't mean to. Okay. Oh, for heaven's sakes, let go. Okay, now on these, I'm just going to fold them in half. and give it a little crease. And the half doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to see one side for the other. We're going to glue these into here. So now we'll just take a little bit of glue. We want glue on both sides. And then we'll take these and put them in here. That just gets the staples covered. This is a fun little project, and really, I mean, the papers that you use, you can grab from anywhere. Tear up junk mail envelopes, you know, grab paper bags from the grocery store, just anything. Just use what you have around and make it work. So I wish this one paper right here was a little bit shaved down, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, we are going to glue these in here. So I'm going to put my pin in temporarily because I want to get these creased and folded. I'll just let you know, when you're folding something like this, it is more difficult when the glue is still wet. So if you can let your glue dry a little bit, that is going to be ideal, because see what's going to happen? It's going to buckle upwards. Here's another opportunity to use our ruler in here and get that. I would let this dry for like an hour maybe. So I'm just going to do the best I can with this, and we're going to fold it over. I'm going to use my bone folder, and as soon as I have my corners somewhat lined up there, I'm going to give it a good crease. Now this is going to have some tougher spots because that original, the way that that tube is wound, there is some places that the paper is twice as thick as it would be normally. So, and I should have been paying more attention. My inside words are sideways. This is what happens in real life crafting. I more than once, when making a card, have glued my card onto the card base upside down. I have made so many mistakes in the direction of gluing. And this is what happens when you work fast, which I clearly am trying to, you know, work somewhat fast. I don't want you guys sitting here for an hour and a half. But I could have paused my video and you know, we could have met back up. But it is what it is, and we're making it work. So I'm having a hard time getting this over to the point where I want it. So let's see. Okay, I think we coerced it to do what we want there. Okay. Now, most of the inside's going to be covered, so truly it does not even matter. So, and I think I am going to have to trim this a little bit because it's a little bit wider than our thing here. That's going to fit much better. So, this one I have that long paper in the back, so that's going to be my back. And I'm just going to get some glue on the just the part that we glued over the top, because we want the papers to be able to tear out. So I'll just try to get that glued in there. This art glitter glue grips really quickly, so I don't have to really press it for very long. It's going to pick right up. Let's see, do I have a long and short? I'm just going to call this my back. Oh, this one's going to need to be trimmed a little bit too, just the top part. And I'm not gluing it all the way to the top. You know, if we wanted to put a little embellishment or something on it, we could. Just leaves room for your imagination to run further. right, now I did also on her papers, she had these adorable little side pockets, and I wanted to do one of those on each. So I'm just going to cut one of those out, and I'm just going to fussy cut them really quickly. These are tiny, and there's big ones and small ones, which is just awesome. So there's multiple options with her paper pack on how you can use them in your projects. I am going to throw a little bit of vintage photo around the edge of this. And I may even distress it a little bit on one side. We can take our little scissors. I think that's the only thing I use these scissors for. I'm gonna have to go back with the distress ink, but I'm just gonna give this a little rougher edge. It just creates a little bit more interest. This paper's pretty thin paper, so I'm just trying to be a ginger with the points on the ends. And let's get these glued down. Just doing a real thin line on the two sides that will go into my corner. Hopefully, I think this is going to work. I didn't even measure, and it's going to be a tight fit, but it is going to work. So we'll get this. It's just going to go right up to the edge. And I could have trimmed it down a little, but like I said, I didn't really check the measurements. So let's just double check this one. It's going to be the same. We'll just make them the same. I appreciate you guys being kind with your comments. You know, I am learning. I know that there are some things that I probably come across as having, you know, skills in ahead of a beginner, but that only has to do with card making and nothing to do with junk journal or these kind of projects. I've never done these things before. I don't even practice these things before I film. Once in a while, I might try something if I just don't get it. But if my mind thinks I have it, I come on here with all the confidence. And then I'm like, oh, these are going to be so easy. And then look, I glue my papers on sideways and, you know, all sorts of fun things. But this just leaves a little pocket to tuck some goodies in. And then, let me see, I had an idea. I was thinking I can use these. She's got these stamps. And I'm trying to think if I know where my hole punch is, because I was going to show you guys a little trick. If you have stamps like this that you're cutting out, just cut your straight lines. Don't worry about trying to fussy cut around all these little bits. And then you can just take your hole punch and hole punch these little circles out. Just take little nips all the way. Don't have to go in as far as I've been. But you probably want to try to keep them somewhat consistent. This one's looking a little madness up in here, but. And you can create your own postage stamp look. Okay, so this is the idea. I am not loving this. I'm not loving how big my circles are versus the circles that are on here. Let me see when I'm done here if I can talk myself into it. Let me ink the edges because there's a couple. I'm going to go with the walnut stain and see if I can get it darker. Maybe if I darken these up, I'll like them more. I think I'm going to go with it. Waste not, want not, we're going to use it. Plus, this isn't a digital that I own, so I can't even like reprint this. So if you're asking me, Tiffany, why don't you just reprint it? Well, sometimes we don't have the option. We have one-of-a-kind items that we've cut out of a magazine or whatever. And this happens to be, I mean, I could totally purchase this from a friend, but this happens to be something that she sent to me. So let me think how I want to do this. I think I have some little bit of lace that we can have kind of coming out the side here. I want something different than that. That's not the lace I want. Let me look in my little bits jar here and see what we can come up with. Ooh, something like this. Let's just cut some pieces off of this. So I'm not looking for it to necessarily go the whole length. I'm just trying to get some layers to make the top pretty. Pretty. Oh, that was like not enough. I need more for that. So that'll go back in here. We'll use those for something else. And I'm going to pull out my Fabri-Tac for this adventure. You know what? I have this little book weight, and I'm just going to put this on here. We're going to weight the top of these to kind of hold them closed while I work with this. I'm just going to lay down a little bit of my Fabri-Tac, and I'm going to lay this lace right into it. And then I'm going to put some on my cutout here. And I do want a good amount because I want it to grab that lace. And you can probably hear my dogs barking right now. Okay, and let's get this one out. Alright, I think I'm going to call it quits as soon as we get this one on there. I believe my husband has a friend over because the dogs are going crazy and you can probably hear them. I had someone, bless their heart, tell me that she really enjoyed my channel because my voice was calming and I didn't have, loud animals or music. And I had to chuckle a little bit because I do have loud animals. They're downstairs, and my husband does an excellent job at maintaining their barking. I mean, they typically don't bark unless there's... I have one dog that's he is just a really loud barker. And it's when someone comes over or, even if we're trying to play with them and they get super excitable, he just loses his mind. He can't, it's like he can't contain all of that excitement in his tiny little dog body. I have 2 miniature Dachshunds, but the one that barks is part miniature Australian Shepherd. So I'm going to blame everybody watching is like, okay, we know it's the Dachshund. And you're probably right. Dachshunds are notorious for being little barkers. But I think this little Australian Shepherd has something extra because I've had a few Dachshunds. I got my first Dachshund when I was 14. Worked, at my mom's store earning money to get my first purebred Dachshund. And let me make sure I don't glue this one on upside down. And anyway, I've never had one bark quite this much. I do know that they're barkers, and I'm not trying to sneak out of that one. But I think it's this miniature Australian Shepherd in him. But we rescued him from, you know, his family was moving to, well, he was a baby. I got him, you know, just 8 weeks, but the family that was caring for the parents was moving to Alaska and was looking for homes for these puppies. So I did get to meet both parents, which was awesome. And it was very unique to see the mix of the Dachshund and that miniature Australian Shepherd. But never seen another dog like that, like Nova. He's very unique and he's beautiful. He's just like got all this silver, and he's like the trimerle Dachshund, but he's got, you know, all that silver kind of dappling, and she's just gorgeous. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up right there. Thank you guys so much for joining me for these cute little notebooks. These can go in pockets in your journals, give them as gifts, fun little creations. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. We're going to be starting our new journal tomorrow. It's just a really beautiful, soft pinks and grays. And I did a look through of the kit, I think, on my last... I can't remember what day it was, but one of my recent videos I did a little look through, and it sounds like a few people have already printed it out to do along with me, so I'm really excited. And I look forward to seeing you guys start that new journal journey with me. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.